On the verbal section of the SAT, you're going to run across sentence completions. Sentence completions ask you to fill in the blank with the appropriate answer choice, each of them being a vocabulary word. ETS, the test writers of the SAT, expect you to approach sentence completions this way. They expect you to take a look at the blank, pop in answer choices to see which one feels right. Now, keep in mind that you don't need any outside knowledge to answer the questions in the SAT, which means all the information you need is right there in the sentence. We're going to teach you how to break the sentence apart in order for you to fill in the correct answer choice each time. Let's go through an example. This example, we're missing a part of the word. I'll explain why in a second. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to be biased by the answer choices. The answer choices are all there to either answer the question correctly or throw you off. What I mean by that is, if you didn't take a look at the rest of the sentence and you merely relied on the answer choices, you might say, okay, well, I don't really know what this question is asking me, but let's see what sounds right. Jane was probed from the group, Jane was ostracized from the group, Jane was embraced from the group, Jane was satiated from the group, Jane was emulated from the group. Some of these may sound right, some of these may not sound right, but the point is you want to avoid focusing on the answer choices until you have a very clear idea of what the question is actually saying. So, for this question in particular, what do we know? Well, we know the question, the sentence itself is about Jane. Jane was something from the group. Now, Jane had something to do with the competition. Well, if we don't know what Jane's relationship is to the competition, we're going to have a hard time figuring out which of these answer choices fits into the blank. Now, let's say that the sentence read this way. After shamelessly collaborating with the competition, Jane was blank from the group. Again, the subject is still Jane, but what do we know about Jane now? She was shamelessly collaborating with the competition. If you're one of her group members, are you going to be happy about that? Probably not. So you know whatever Jane was doing was bad, so the group is going to do something bad. The group is going to not feel good about it. So let's come up with our own word before going to the answer choices. Jane was what from the group? Again, cover up the answer choices, take a look at the blank, and try to fill in your own word. Let's say Jane was kicked out. Jane was kicked out of the group because she was shamelessly collaborating with the competition. Now that we've come up with our own word, we can go to the answer choices. Does probed mean kicked out? No. Does ostracized mean kicked out? If you don't know what ostracized means, you got to leave it alone. Does embraced mean kicked out? No. Does satiated mean kicked out? If you don't know what satiated means, you leave it alone. Does emulated mean kicked out? No. 1 out of 2 answer choices. Ostracized means kicked out or actually to be removed from a group. Satiated, we don't know what it means, for example. So in this case, ostracized, answer choice B is the right answer. How did we know it was the right answer? We knew it was the right answer because of these 2 words, shamelessly collaborating. They're always going to give you a hint in every single sentence completion. The trick is, don't look at the answer choices until you figure out what the hint is, and then come up with your own word and compare it to the answer choices, eliminating any answer choice that doesn't agree with the word you've already come up with.